back into the Vedas. And this is a different stream that is trying to understand, I guess, these topics, but is taking the most materialistic approach to it, to the point where it's actually, it's at a point where it's delusion. It's not even reality. It's a divergent stream at this point. It's like a monstrous, garish caricature of reality. And so I completely agree with with Lisa on this, that we have a very specific history of our planet, and the formation of the Earth begins as a astral form, and it gets denser and denser and denser over time. And the human being is with the Earth from the very beginning, when it's just an astral coalescence of different forces. Beginning, the human being was there. The human.
Is that something that we can believe? The human being is part and parcel of the earth?
The being has never not been part of the Earth, and the human being is a direct expression of the spiritual hierarchies. So eventually the human being will graduate from the solar system and become an angel. They'll reach an exalted angel state. In the Eastern tradition, this is called Atman. So we'll become a solar being, a solar human. Now, none of that involves any kind of, obviously, like genetic modification or alien gods or any of that. This is the sick, weird stuff that comes out of this dark secret society that wants everybody to think that they were created by aliens as slaves, and genetic modification is how we're going to evolve, and you have to have genetic modification shots, and it's this whole sick, weird thing that comes from this dark secret society that does work through the Von Daniken work, the Sitchin work, Ancient Aliens, and Gaia. I'm just going to say it because it is so glaringly obvious when you begin to recognize it. Because there is, on the other hand, which is the traditional teaching of esoterica that's been taught for a very long time, that hasn't been distorted by, these bizarre dogmatic scientific.
What is Gigi saying here? What is she saying here? I think it's a good time to ask what is Gigi saying? What is the delineation here? What is she saying Gaia isn't that is, or that what is Gaia doing that they shouldn't be doing potentially, or that is false, even if they don't know any better, right? I think that if you know, you know. And I think that in your heart it's there, and it's told you what to do. It's told you what you need to do, and then you have the choice to I guess attempt it, if you want to put it that way, or hear it, or adhere to it, or not, or just not adhere to it at all, and you just want to take your soul a different way. So which ways are we talking about here? The thing is, like, on Gaia, David Wilcock gives quite a bit away when he talks about his self needs in the future. He determines that he'll need a bodyguard. In my, in my understandings of the future is that there won't be a division like that. There just won't be a division like that because where does a division like that erupt from? It erupts from a sense of insecurity or not as good as, and David Wilcock, was playing stadiums basically, and you don't play stadiums to get this sort of information across. You don't have to play stadiums. It makes it. All it is be good, be a decent person, and you'll change the world just by being a decent person. It really does boil down to that to some degree. It's just sort of be fucking okay. Like, be kind, be giving. Uh, listen.
Like individuals, um, which is a very slow evolution and metamorphosis that doesn't need any kind of terraforming. Even the planets don't need terraforming. This is a delusion. We live in a completely succinct, gorgeous system of development and slow evolution over time. The closer we are to nature, the closer we are to our own hearts, the faster we evolve. The more we want to distance ourselves from nature, try to control nature, try to control other people, try to control our genetic code, try to control the planet, try to strong arm it, try to play God, the more devolved we become. Harmony is the law of evolution. And part of harmonizing is understanding how the earth is formed, how humanity is formed, and how it evolves over time through the Christ impulse and through the Christ stream. And I like how in your comment, Lisa, you also mentioned that Krishna, meaning Christ, is an early incarnation or an early expression of Christ. And if you know anything about anthroposophy and spiritual science, you know the energy body that Christ took on was a shared sheath that was also worn by other avatars, and that's actually how initiation occurs. Is that there is these shared astral and etheric bodies, and that's actually how consciousness evolves. Is actually through the sharing of astral and etheric bodies. When a certain human being builds up to a certain point in harmony, to a certain point in consciousness, they can actually become powerful enough and strong enough and aligned with God enough to actually take on an exalted astral or etheric body or both. And that's actually what makes a great initiate. And that's in a sense what we're all, building up to do. Okay? So I do agree that there's a lot of beautiful truths in the Eastern teachings. And, the West started to go into this cycle where it became all about, the West kind of carried the burden of developing the I and exploring the I. And the East carried the burden of keeping all those teachings as best as possible. And when they come together with East meets West, we find a beautiful coalescing and a beautiful merging of humanity and of our consciousness, really.
Brett and Todd is East meets West. That's my intuition.
They're not at odds. The East and Western teachings, they're not at odds at all, and they should be viewed as having different angles or perspectives on the same scientific lineage. Also keep in mind that there are individuals that actually have access to certain spiritual books or certain wisdom through reading the Akashic record that may not be in the Vedas. So just because something is written in the Vedas a certain way, as an individual, we're not meant to look at the Vedas, look at the Bible, look at any ancient text and say, this is reality. This is the truth. That's called dogmatism. So So when you are an individual and you are latching on to a spiritual text, right? And you're like, this is it. Everything in here is exact. It's always going to be exact. This is it. That's called dogmatism. That's not spirituality. That's not self-development. That's dogmatic belief. And that's actually what we want to avoid. So we use spiritual texts. We use the Bible. We use the Upanishads. We use all the Mahabharata. We use all of these different spiritual texts, different Tibetan texts or Jewish texts, whatever.
I think it's important to even just stop and just to be like, why are we even listening to this? Really, why are we listening to Gigi Young? How did we get here? How did we get here? How did we get here? This is not an attack on Gigi. She's actually quite brilliant, I think. I really enjoy listening to her. It's more of a critique on what is it we're not? What is it we're not adhering to? What is it that we're doing in today, in society today, that's sort of not working? Is there anything? I mean, is there anything that's just not working, or are there any? I mean, obviously, YouTube is. Look, I'm sorry. I believe that YouTube is basically a Luciferian issue. I mean, I wouldn't have said that unless there was Luciferians like trying to get me on YouTube. Like, like I'm very hesitant to use kind of extreme language like that, but unfortunately, the antagonists don't really offer much more than, yeah, this is Luciferian bullshit. And so I used to, and I still do look at it as bullshit. I mean, I understand the dogma of it. I understand the thought process behind it. I understand how you think you can use me for power. You think you can hurt me and somehow gain power out of it. It's absurd. I mean, on its face, it's absolutely absurd. You cannot. I mean, you can do whatever you want to me, and will not boost you in any way. I suppose you could prevent every positive, decent human being who had something to say from ever speaking out. I mean, you would have to be nipping at the toes of a lot of people. I mean, it's not. I mean, I can't be the only one, preaching the Christ impulse. I'm not even fucking Christian. I'm a Jew. I'm a Jew, but I do follow a Christ impulse. So I do believe that doing good, being good to people, being helping people, lifting them, sacrificing, doing work that maybe you wouldn't have had to otherwise, or that is hard. Like for instance, the lawsuit. Look, the lawsuit is I can see how people might view it in many different ways. I will tell you one thing: it is not an easy process by any means. It's been one of the more troubling and difficult routes that I've taken. in my life. But I wouldn't go back. I mean, I'm, in fact, not only would I not go back, my heart is sealed towards winning. Like, I'm gonna win. And why am I gonna win? Well, the facts are on my side. That's why. If they weren't, there would be no lawsuit. That would be it. The facts are on my side. And I've taken a lot of abuse on this fucking platform. I guess at what point is it my fault? You know, at what point did I do this to myself? I don't know. I really don't. I don't think I'm qualified to even comment on that. I actually don't think I'm ever liable for the actions of others. I think that the people that come on here and harass me are continuously liable for their own actions. And then I think that at a time when YouTube becomes aware of this type of behavior and they do nothing, then they begin to incur liability. That actually is what it is. I mean, that is what it is. We can go through the guidelines, but that's the facts. I mean, that's the math of it. I mean, there's one thing that you can't run from, Michael and Greg, is that you changed my life forever. You altered the course of my life, and you said you would never stop harassing me. And you put me up against a corner. And if you ever thought that I was going to be like, oh, they put me up against the corner, I'll just do what they say, you had me pegged. You had me wrong. You were wrong. I will never, ever give in to the likes of you, ever, Michael. And I pray for you every fucking day. And Greg, I pray for you every day. YouTube is a different story. I do pray for the larger platform. But Mike and Greg, I mean, enough is enough. You guys are fucking donezo, okay? Like, donezo. I don't even, every time anything you bring to your lawyer, like if you bring any of this to your lawyer, what are you bringing to your lawyer? A contact with Los Angeles, which goes against your whole entire dismissal notion, okay? So therein lies a problem for you. The other thing is that there's a lot of these aliases, and there's been no denial on your behalf. These aren't mine. These aren't mine. These aren't mine. You've never said it because they are yours. And during discovery, those will be unmasked, and you will be uncovered to be Baron von Elmo, obviously, but more obviously. I don't know what you thought you would ever get out of me. I don't know what you thought you would ever do to me. And honestly, my soul doesn't really care as much as yours does. You know, like, being homeless would not be as bad as being you. I'll tell you that much. Being homeless wouldn't be as bad as being you. It just wouldn't. It would be. I mean, I'd rather be homeless. It'd be way better, because being what you are, the two of you, and what you've done. I mean, Mr. Holmes, I know your part in this whole game. And if you think for 1 second that there's not going to be a thorough investigation into the pig demons, Phyllis, Thoughteth, or any of your aliases, you are wrong, Mr. Holmes. That would be denying my due process. I mean, you don't have any claim. Your lawyer, you are forcing your lawyer, I can tell, you're forcing your lawyer to do what you want him to do so bad. But the thing is, you can only do so much, and you have no case because you are horrible, horrid people, and I intend to prove it in court. And I think YouTube has about. I mean, look, it's pretty much going to be like a case. I'm not going to just let YouTube get away with it. Like they got 50 minutes if they want. If they want to start, but honestly, after that, I can't just let them go undiscovered. Like, I can't do that. I actually am not doing this for money. I'm not doing it for money. In fact, if I was doing this for money, it would be a gamble, and I'm not a big gambler. But uh, the fact is, I mean, the math is, you did it. You did it. You guys harassed and abused, and there's no denying that. It's very obvious. I have witnesses. Um, you're done, Mr. Thompson, and you're done, Mr. Holmes. You guys are both done, and I don't know what else to tell you. I do I revel in that. I am excited to get you off of the internet for a while, for a few years at least, because you're scary, you're evil, you're pieces of shit, you're rude, you're mean, you're you're nasty. I don't know what the fuck you think you're doing. I swear to God, I will. I swear to God, I will. Look, I'm not really that type of person. Swear to God, I'll do this, whatever. But you're done. You're done. It's going to be articulated before the court. Uh, you're in violation of YouTube's terms and policies, and you're actually working in conjunction with YouTube, in my opinion. You you finessed the YouTube system, and it's a bit too late now, isn't it? It's far too late. It's far too late. It's far too late. It's far too late. Sober, sober. Oh yes, sober. Who would you rather be around? A sober Luciferian freak? Sorry, I added in the word freak. Or a decent drunk person? I'd rather be around a decent drunk person. Luciferian is just too weird. It's just too weird. And I want to know about the pig demons. The pig demons. Okay, I already lost. I already lost. Okay. Then why are you here? What, to finish me off? What? Who are you actually? You already lost. You Ewok. I don't see why that's such a big deal to be an Ewok. Uh, no, no, no. I haven't lost. In fact, if you want to go over your own, I'm assuming this is Michael Thompson. If you want to go over uh, your own guys' reports, you will find that he talks a lot about jurisdiction. Um, The judge remanded it to a federal question, first of all. So there's no diversity of citizenship to be objected to, for one. And then you talk about contacts. Well, making a channel and then uploading 1,000 copyrighted videos of a person in Los Angeles constitutes contacts with Los Angeles. And Mr. Holmes, we know that you supported and you duly supported this action. Um, mm-mm. You lost. You've lost. You've lost, Michael. You've lost. I'm letting you know now, and so you can get it through your head before it comes down the pike on September 11th. I'm not praying. I'm doing the math. You're done for. Your lawyer has no case. Your lawyer is honestly, what it looks like to me is that you and your friend Greg are pushing this lawyer to get a dismissal. Looks like you're pushing him real hard, but the thing is, there's no dismissal to be had. If I were your lawyer, I might have said, hey, why don't we just answer it and say, Mr. Schultz is a prick. Fuck him. He's a fucking asshole. But the thing is, all I did was tell you to stop bullying Justin. And that's not a really. And in fact, let's dig it deeper into what's going on. What are you really doing? What are you really fucking doing, you piece of shit? Huh? What the fuck are you really doing? What the fuck are you really doing with this whole bullshit nonsense about the homelessness and all the teeth and all the bullshit? What the fuck are you doing? What the fuck do you think you're doing? It's not cute. It's not funny. It's disturbing. I've literally spent many days in agony and disgust looking at what you and your gang of people have done, and they'll all be taken care of, I promise. But there's zero chance you're getting out of this, buddies. I'm coming after you with I've read the federal procedure rules. I've already read them twice. I've read the court rules. I've read the local rules. I'm not going to be perfect, but you did the crime, and therefore you will pay the time. Basically, like, you're done. You too are done. Rob and Eagles on, you're done. You guys are done. You're fucking horrible people, and you think that you've gotten away with it, and I don't know what you think. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, because it doesn't matter. This is horrible. Horrible. YouTube should not even, this should not be taking place on YouTube. But a man has a right to stand up for himself, especially against the likes of you. You're done, Thompson, Michael, or Christopher Michael, whatever your fucking name is, Michael Christopher, I guess. Here's the thing, Michael Christopher, Todd Michael. Who's the Michael there? Todd Michael is. You're done, Michael Thompson. You're done, I promise you. I promise you. What you've done, you've gone way too far. You've gone way too far. There's too much gross shit. Go ahead and delete whatever you want. That's upsetting. It's upsetting. I mean, I sanctioned you hoping that, you would be, mandated to sort of hand over whatever you were deleting, because I know you've deleted. I know you well enough to know that you've been deleting shit. And Mr. Holmes, I've got it all on fucking tape, basically. I've got witnesses. The pig demons. I've got witnesses. This is not going to be YouTube in 2 months from now. This isn't not going to be how YouTube goes. I'm not going to have to come on and face off with a bunch of Luciferian freaks, okay? That's gonna be done. I don't even like. What would I report them? Like, what's the point? What's the fucking point? Huh? What's the fucking point of reporting it? You guys have no chance because you did a crime and you're gonna do the time. Period. It's sand. Like, I don't think you understand exactly how the law works, but here's a good way to look at it. All right. So hold on. This is the scales of justice, right? So it's about it's a scale, right? Okay. Let's go. All right. So we'll talk about Section 230 immunity. Where does Section 230 immunity come in? When you post something, it goes here. Section 230 immunity. It's immune. Yep. Post. Oh, yep. You get a lot of immunity there. There's a decent amount of immunity there. But then once it's reported here, then liability starts to occur, right? Right? There's a little liability. And then so that's like 2 reports. Let's do like 7 reports. Yes. Yeah, exactly. The liability has already overtaken it's already become heavier than the immunity. To be frank, you know about it, and you're still right. You're still for years, you're letting it go on, and you know about it. This is your immunity. You get this immunity. You do get this immunity. It will constitute part of the relief and part of the damages. There will be some liability there. There will be some 2-3 immunity, but the liability is for what? Criminal fraud or criminal negligence, which eventually becomes fraud, and that's a full ass glass. So you got your immunity here, which is on one side of the scale, which is in favor of YouTube, and then you have the negligence, the criminal negligence, E1, and then you have the copyright negligence, E2, and then you have me sending them the 1AC, First Amendment complaint. Ooh, that's even worse. And then you have Mr. Connor Tucker's, I guess you would call it a vow to not uphold the terms of service and say we don't have to. Then you've just kind of full glass. You got overweighing glass. That's fraud. That's fraud. It's fraud. It's fraud. It's fraud because I was duped. I never, ever, ever anticipated that I would ever run across a freak like Mr. Thompson ever in my whole fucking life. I never imagined even such a fucking dark piece of crap. I never, ever did. I just wanted him to stop bullying Mr. Bay. And Mr. Thompson liked bullying him so much, he just decided, oh, let's go after this. You know what? You'll go after anybody who tells you to stop doing your bad shit. I'm not going away, period. I'm going to win this lawsuit. It's not even a question. The math is not. I told you. This is the math against you, right? For you or against YouTube. And if YouTube is liable, you guys sure as fuck are liable. Because you guys, see this? This is their immunity. But guess what this is? All of this is your liability, but guess what? That's your liability. When it comes down to it, when it's looked through the prism of what's your liability, that's really what it looks like. Although YouTube's immunity looks like this, like it's low, your liability, your Mr. Thompson, Mr. Holmes liability is like this. if I can put it in mathematical terms, because you intended, you planned, you executed, and you did it. And there's no doubting you're caught. I've caught you. Witnesses are there. I have tapes. I have pictures. I have everything. Everything is there. It's, uh, I frankly want it done now because I'm sick of YouTube being a little breeding ground for like freaks. And when I say freaks, I mean people who are willing to do others harm for no good reason. I really, really, really would think about what I do next if I were you. I really would because you're about to face the court system. You think you can hide behind a lawyer forever? Well, no. September 11th, you're not going to be able to hide behind a lawyer. And I'm telling you, none of those fucking things that that lawyer put make any sense at all. So there's going to be no dismissal for Mr. Thompson and Mr. Holmes. And there will be no dismissal for YouTube. To be quite honest, it's just not going to happen. The math just doesn't work out. There's something called due process. Now, if you somehow proved, look, let me tell you. Okay, so Rule 12H3, lack of subject matter jurisdiction. If the court determines at any time that it lacks subject matter jurisdiction, the court must dismiss the action. Most of your lawyer, Mr. Hurwitz's argument hinges on jurisdiction. Now, what that means is that were the court to have heard Mr. Hurwitz's argument and agreed, they would have had to, they would have been obligated to have dismissed it then and there, immediately. It says in the federal rules that they have to, but they didn't. They didn't because the jurisdiction is there. And Michael, you and Greg, I wish you no harm. I wish you no harm. I hope that you do well in life, but I hope that you learn to reflect. You have no chance in here in this court. You're going to be, God willing, you'll be arrested. God willing. Because what you've done is so obscene. It's so obscene. It's so overbearing. It's so much. It's so much. It's so much. It's so many different people. It's so many different times. It's so many different things. You've defrauded me. You. It's so many. It's so much. And you can type my chat all you want, but I'm telling you, your liability is even heavier than this cup. Let me tell you, like YouTube's liability is actually quite heavy too. Actually, but their immunity is like this. They do have some immunity. They will, but it might not even start with me. So there might be zero immunity where I'm concerned, depending on their action or inaction or knowledge when the issue between us began. Now I know that you think that what you did to Justin is independent of this. It's not. Actually, I don't know what the fuck is going on, but I have to improve this platform. I have to. I can't let you continue to do this. It's creepy. It's creepy and disgusting. It's just creepy and disgusting. And I'm not afraid of you. I'm not afraid of you. I don't care if you chain me up in your basement or whatever it is that you want to do. I don't care if you have me toothless. I don't care. I'm not going to relent until justice is done. And if the judge gives me good reason why I should back down, I'll back down. And not until then. But until that day, I'm going in it. This is your liability. And then some. Like 3 of these cups. Huh. And YouTube, their immunity is like this much. So they do have some immunity because they can't be blamed for the eruption of you freaks. Probably, depending on their participation. I don't know. And I will extradite Ian Bolton and Zamoses. Period. I have nothing else to do. Not that I have nothing else to do, but I really care about this issue, and I'm not gonna let you fuckers get away. What you've done is obscene. You're gonna pay the consequences, or I'm gonna pay the consequences for trying to adhere you to consequences that maybe you weren't adhered to in this universe. We'll see, but I'm gonna fight really hard to make sure that you never have another victim ever again. What you're doing is sick. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. It sickens me to the core of my being, and I will do anything to stop it. I actually would give up my own life to stop you. So take that for what it's worth. I would give up my life to stop you from hurting anybody else. Either of you. I don't care what your reasons are. I don't care what you're jealous of. That's your problem, bro. I was jealous of Miley Cyrus for a couple of years, okay? But I dealt with it. I didn't fucking assault her and attack her, okay? I didn't fucking go after her because I was jealous of her. Cyrax. Oh, yeah, Cyrax. So funny. So funny. It's going to be so funny when your whole thing is caught up in RICO, racketeering, organized crime, which is what you guys are. And you're all going to fucking jail for what you did. Or I am an idiot. And we'll see. Maybe you guys are comfortable betting on that. But if you don't go to jail, then I'm a fucking idiot because I think what you've done is racketeering, it's organized crime, it's organized bullying, which is a crime. It's worse. It's the worst type, the worst fucking type. I fucking loathe it, and I will not relent. Okay, so go ahead and show this to your fucking lawyer. Maybe you can tell your lawyer. And also, Mr. Holmes, I know that you've talked to Mr. Fortune. I know that you have because Mr. Fortune's been in the live stream chats for Mr. Thompson's thing, and you're in basically every single one. So the only possible way that you don't have any connection to True Fortune is that you were never in at the same time as him. I find that to be hard to believe and unlikely because I know you have nothing else to do.